folks. Welcome to week number 5 of Interpersonal Communications Online for fall semester 2014 at Hennepin Technical College. Hopefully, folks, you are taking a little deep breath and relaxing a little after getting your perception interview in. Note that that was due Wednesday on 9/17, and I'm recording our video today on Friday, September 19th. So, like I said, take a deep breath, relax. You've got the first paper in. I will be reading and grading those over the next 5 or 6 days. My hope is to have them all graded with comments and grades posted by probably next Tuesday or Wednesday. So check back to see when grades are posted. Do remember that tonight, however, Friday, September 19th, you do have quiz number 3. So don't relax and breathe deeply too much. Make sure that you do get your quiz done. I did go in, and it does look like quite a few of you already have your quiz number 3 completed, so way to go. All right, so let's look ahead to the next week, which is week number 5. Week number 5, we are doing chapter 4. So kind of notice here, folks, that we're kind of moving through some different kind of big areas in our book. We started out with just an introductory chapter. We focused on perception, identity, self, idea of self, and now we're moving into verbal, nonverbal, and listening. And so this chapter 4 kind of is the kickoff to another section here, and it's all about how we use verbal symbols or language in our everyday life. This chapter for me is always an interesting one because it really does kind of open my eyes to the way that we use language every day, and we take it for granted, but we really don't take the time to really examine the language itself. Yeah, we've all had an English class, and probably more than one English class. We had English and writing training all the way through high school, and even as college students. My assumption is that most of you have had at least, an essay fundamentals or comp or one of those classes. So we spend a lot of time talking about the written language. We don't spend a lot of time actually learning about verbal language in face-to-face communication. So I really like this chapter because it talks about that the fact that we use words as if we're sharing understanding. When I say the word party, I assume that you're defining party the same way that I am, when in fact when you read through chapter 4 you realize that it's just a symbol, and we all have different definitions of how we attach meaning to the symbols that we're using. So I think you will find it very interesting, chapter 4. I think you also will learn some things because I think it is kind of an eye-opening chapter. I do just want to call your attention in the book on chapter 81. There's a really interesting text box there that talks about the movie Avatar and the development of the language that they use there. So I encourage you to read that. I just find that really fascinating that they developed a whole language for the movie, and it took 4 years to develop this language that they used throughout the movie, and that it still is being developed and expanded. So this week for September 22nd through September 26th, we're focusing on chapter 4. No writing assignments this week. We are just doing quiz number 4, which is due on Friday the 26th. One of the things I do want to point out, though, is that you look at our schedule, you will see that we are now officially a quarter of the way or a fourth of the way through the semester. So I just want to encourage you, with a quarter of the way of the course assignments completed, to make sure that you're keeping up with the schedule. Make sure that you're studying and doing well on your quizzes. We are quickly approaching the halfway mark, which is right down here when we get to MEA break, which is week number 8. So we have 4 more weeks, and then we are there. Once we get to that halfway mark, it's sometimes very difficult for students to change their grade a whole lot, simply because there's so many points that have been recorded. So please make sure at this point in the semester that you are on track for the grade that you would like to achieve. If you're not on track, again, and I know I probably sound like a broken record, but please know that I'm here. I have office hours on Tuesday and Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., but I'm also on campus various other days for meetings and things that are going on. So please, if you can't make one of my office hours to come in and see me, please send me an email and we can pick a time that works for you and me to sit down face to face. Or if you are somebody who it's not possible for you to get into campus, please email me. We at least can have an email conversation about your challenges, and hopefully I can steer you in the right direction. I truly would love it if we got to this end of the semester and you all had the grades that you were wanting. And again, I'm willing to help you. I'm willing to walk beside you and help you do that. You just need to reach out to me and let me know that you're struggling. So I will be sending out not mid, but early alerts. The counselors have asked for us to identify any students in our class who are not currently passing. So I will be doing that today as well. And I also will be reaching out to students who are not participating online. Remember that Hennepin Tech has a policy: if you're not completing online assignments, if you're not doing your quizzes, if you're not submitting your papers, if you're not doing your discussion postings, and you do that for more than 2 weeks, you do need to be dropped from our course. We call that an LDA, last date of attendance. And what happens is I go into eServices then, and I drop you or LDA you from our course roster. And what happens is an F is then recorded on your transcript. So you do really want to make sure that you are participating and that you're not missing any assignments. And if something does come up, if you have an emergency situation, please let me know. Just even shoot me an email and say, hey, my kids have been sick for a week and so I haven't been able to be online. But let me know what's going on so that you don't wind up with that LDA on your transcript when you really did not intend to stop participating. So that's about it. Like I said, hopefully you're all breathing kind of a sigh of relief. Don't forget, if you haven't taken quiz number 3, it is due this evening by 11:59. And then next week we're reading chapter 4 and then taking quiz number 4 on Friday, September 26th. Hope you are all doing well. I hope you're enjoying the course. I hope you're finding personal relevance so that as you're reading about things that you are taking it to work with you and taking it home with you, and you actually are using the information. Of course, I would like to see you all get A's in my class, but even more importantly, I'd like to see you be able to use the information on an everyday basis and improve your communication so you become more competent as communicators. That's really the best of all worlds, right? I mean, you take a course, you jump the hoop that you're supposed to jump for your degree or your diploma, you get a decent grade, and then the bonus piece is you actually use something or learn something that you can use to improve your relationships. So hopefully you all are learning and using the information. And again, if you are having any struggles at all, please reach out through email or come into my office hours and let me help you be successful. Have a wonderful weekend. It sounds like it's going to be warm and sunny, so enjoy this beautiful fall weather and keep up the good work, group. Have a good week.